Hello and welcome to Dell EMC Networking Infrastructure Solutions. This video discusses the deployment of the Dell EMC ISILON X210 with Dell EMC switches in a Layer 2 and Layer 3 leaf-spine topology. Dell EMC ISILON is a network-attached storage platform for high-volume storage, backup, and archiving of unstructured data. It provides a cluster-based storage array. It comes with the 1FS operating system, which uses a single volume, namespace, and file system architecture. In this deployment, the R730XT servers are used as compute nodes. 3 ISILON nodes and 2 servers connect to each leaf pair. The ISILON nodes connect on a backend network through 2 InfiniBand switches, creating a single 6-node cluster. This video focuses on the ISILON X210 deployment using Layer 3 leaf-spine topology and Layer 2 leaf-spine topology.
This video discusses the steps necessary to add ISILON X210 nodes into cluster, set up functioning SMB share, designate a secondary subnet, and configure Smart Connect feature in 1FS. ISILON uses InfiniBand for a superfast microsecond latency backend network that serves as the backbone of the ISILON cluster. So the primary internal interface on side A of the InfiniBand network is INT-A, and the secondary as well as failover internal interface on side B of the InfiniBand network is INT-P. For communication between cluster nodes, the network settings such as netmask and IP address range will be configured on side A, which is INT-A. Here you can see that for primary internal interface INT-A, the IP address range is 10.10.10.1 to 10.10.10.253 with subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Similarly, for communication between cluster nodes on side B, you can see that the IP address range is 10.10.20.1 to 10.10.20.253 with subnet mask 255.255.255.0, that means /24. The INT-B also works as failover for redundancy to INT-A network, and the IP address range for failover is 10.10.30.1 to 10.10.30.253. External 1 is out-of-band management interface used by clients to access data on the cluster. The external interface IP address range is 100.67.170.140 to 100.67.170.148 with subnet mask 255.255.255.0. One very important feature that must be configured is Smart Connect. Smart Connect allows the workload to be dynamically reassigned to other nodes in the cluster in the event of a node failure. The Smart Connect zone name is Management Zone 1 and service IP is 100.67.170.149. The first step in configuring the ISILON array is building the cluster. After the array is powered on, a serial connection is made to each node. Connect to the first node and use the cluster creation wizard to build the cluster. Access the cluster creation wizard. Select option 1 for creating a cluster. Software license and maintenance agreement is displayed next. Accept the EULA. Provide a password for root. You can change root password from default. Provide an UI admin password. Add cluster name. As shown, we can configure cluster 1 After the cluster is created, we can add all ISILON nodes into this cluster. Select encoding. In this example, UTF-8 is selected. The default option for cluster encoding is also UTF-8. Configure the primary internal interface INTA with an IP address range and subnet mask. First choose Configure Subnet Mask option with index number 1 and assign subnet mask as 255.255.255.0. Here, IP ranges are assigned for backend network. To add an IP address range, choose 1 as shown. For primary internal interface INTA, assign low IP address 10.10.10.1 and high IP address 10.10.10.253. Similarly, configure secondary internal interface INTB with an IP address range and subnet mask. Choose 1 to assign subnet mask as 255.255.255.0. Choose 2 to assign IP address range. For INTB, assign IP address range from 10.10.20.1 to 10.10.20.253. As INTB is secondary internal interface, you can also assign failover IP address range. Select option 3 to assign failover IP address range. The failover IP address range will be 10.10.30.1 to 10.10.30.253. Configure external network by providing an IP address range, subnet mask, and MTU. Configuration of the management 1 gig EXT1 connections are made using out-of-band management IP range 100.67.170.0/24. Choose 1 to configure the subnet mask. Enter the subnet mask as 255.255.255.0. In this example, enter 3 to add IP address range. The IP address range for external interface EXT1 is 100.67.170.140 to 100.67.170.148. And configure default gateway as 100.67.170.254. Configure Smart Connect with Smart Connect zone name and service IP. Choose 1 to enter Smart Connect zone name. In this example, the zone name is management zone 1.del.local and the service IP is 100.67.170.149. Configure DNS servers as shown here. The DNS has been configured as per the domain name server established here. In this example, the DNS server is at 100.67.10.1 and the search domains are del.local. In this example, we are keeping the current date and time. Also keep the current join mode as manual and commit the changes. Login into the cluster using username as root and password. After the first node is configured and the cluster is created, other nodes are added into the cluster. To add a node to the cluster, select 2 on Cluster Creation Wizard and add index number of the cluster. Once the node is added into the cluster, you can now log in with username and password. In this example, we are adding 5 nodes into the cluster. After the cluster is created and each node is added to the cluster, configuration can now be completed through OneFS Web GUI. This section of the video discusses the creation of 2 subnets and their associated IP pools, as well as the addition of static routes to ensure end-to-end connectivity. This will include ensuring that the LSCP option is selected and the appropriate interfaces are selected. Use the first IP address in the range defined for the 10 gig interface to access the OneFS Web GUI. It's 100.67.170.140. This will lead us to the first node in the cluster. After successfully logging into the OneFS Web GUI, click Cluster Management, Network Configuration. This allows you to modify the network configuration. GroupNet 0 and Subnet 0 displays the default details for management access. Add Subnet 1 and Subnet 2 as per the topology for storage traffic. You can add subnets by choosing View or Edit on GroupNet. Add name of the subnet as Subnet 1. Enter subnet mask as 255.255.255.0 and gateway address as 172.16.1.254. In this example, we are leaving the gateway priority as default. Select MTU as 9000. Add Smart Connect service IP 172.16.1.249 and enter Smart Connect service name as scZone1.del.local. This will create subnet 1. Next, create a pool by selecting Add Pool. Add name as Pool 1. Add IP range as indicated by the subnet, which is 172.16.1.1 to 172.16.1.50. And add interfaces in pool. In this case, the interfaces are 10 gig aggregation 1 from ISILON nodes 1, 2 and 3. Enter zone name as scZone1. Similarly, configure subnet 2 and pool 2. Add subnets by choosing View or Edit on GroupNet. Add name of the subnet as Subnet 2. Enter subnet mask as 255.255.255.0 and gateway address as 172.16.2.254. In this example, we are leaving the gateway priority as default. Select MTU as 9000. Add Smart Connect service IP 172.16.2.249 and enter Smart Connect service name as scZone2.del.local. This will create subnet 2. Next, create a pool by selecting Add Pool. Add name as Pool 2. Add IP range as indicated by the subnet, which is 172.16.2.1 to 172.16.2.50. And add interfaces in pool. In this case, the interfaces are 10 gig aggregation 1 from ISILON nodes 4, 5 and 6. Enter zone name as SC Zone 2. The subnet and pool is now created and configured. Static routes needs to be configured to enable traffic across two subnets. Go to Network Configurations, Subnet Pool, choose Add Static Route and enter the static route information for subnet, netmask and gateway. The next step is to configure the Microsoft Windows SMB share. This will create a folder structure that will then be configured under 1FS protocols, Windows Sharing SMB. Once the folders are added to the Windows Sharing SMB section and the network is properly configured, the folder will be accessible via a Windows server. From 1FS Web GUI, select File System, File System Explorer, click Create Directory. Define the directory name SMB. Define the user, group and permission settings. The permission settings should be default. After the folder is created, click the SMB folder. Create a directory inside the folder and configure the name Engineering. Modify the user, group and permissions settings. Similarly, create accounting with the same settings. When both folders have been created, click Protocols, Windows Sharing, and then create an SMB share. Assign a name such as Engineering and use the Browse button to navigate to the Engineering folder that was created previously. Select within the Members window and assign access permissions. Give member permission as full control. All other options are left at their default values. Click Create Share. Repeat the same steps for accounting. Assign a name and use the Browse button to navigate to the accounting folder that was created in the SMB directory previously. Select within the Members window and assign access permissions. Give member permission as full control. All other options are left at their default values. Validate by accessing the file system from a server. You can map network drive on server 1 and server 4. You can put files on either of the server and can access it from the other server. From server 1, map network drive for engineering and accounting using the IP address 172.16.2.1. Similarly, you can map network drive for accounting using the same IP address. The SMB shares are now mapped on server 1. Similarly, on server 4, map the network drive for engineering and accounting using the IP address 172.16.1.1. Similarly, you can map network drive for accounting using the same IP address. The SMB shares are now mapped on server 4. Create a notepad file on server 4. As you can see, we created a test file. Copy and paste it on the accounting network share. On server 1, the notepad file that was added to the network drive is now visible and accessible. Thank you for watching this video. Please visit support.dell.com for additional solution collateral.